Hello. All right, we're going to go ahead and explore our Scholastic news and the story about Bessie Coleman. So if you remember, we read about, about Bessie Coleman in one of our IRA read-alouds, and she just happens to be on the cover of the Scholastic news, so that's pretty cool. And remember, we kind of talked about this in class too, and remembered who she was. So make sure before we get started that you have your All About Bessie Coleman worksheet out, and it's attached to the closed reading questions. All right, so put your name on your paper right now. I'm going to go ahead and do it with you like I always do. Helps you remember. All right, pause the video at any time if you need to. Let's read, my throat is dry. Let's read the questions that we're looking for first. So it says, all about Bessie Coleman. After reading the article, history makers, Bessie Coleman, use facts and details from the text. Not your opinions and ideas, facts and details from the text. To complete the graphic organizer below. Here's the graphic organizer. List 2 details about Coleman's childhood. So you're going to have to tell me 2 things from her childhood, from the story. Write 2 adjectives that describe Coleman. Oh, what are adjectives again? I hope you said describing words, right? Was she brave? Remember her story was Brave Bessie. That's the story that we read. How else would you describe her? If someone asked you about her, what would you tell them? How would you describe Bessie? Describe a challenge Coleman faced. What was a challenge that she faced? What was something difficult that she had to overcome? Remember, we talked about facing challenges when we read all of those books and about determination. Yeah, that's what those books were about in our IRA. Describe one of Coleman's major life accomplishments. What did she do in her life that's notable? What did she do that was important? That was awesome? That was amazing? All right, and let's look at the second page to listen to, to listen to what we're going to be looking for as we read. Refer to history makers, Bessie Coleman, to respond to the questions below. Reread the article to find details that support your answers. Here it is again, details that support your answers. They have to be information from the book, not your own opinions. Remember to write incomplete sentences, so they have to have a subject and a predicate, okay? A beginning and end to the sentence, a capital letter at the beginning, a period at the end. All right, there are, I only read you question number 1. Whew, it's been a long day. All right, question number 2. I only read you the instructions. See, it's just like at school. I'm not going to stop my video or rewind. I'm just going to go back up to the top. All right, let's read these questions together. In what way did Bessie Coleman make aviation history? Aviation is flight, flying. In what way did Bessie Coleman make flight aviation history? Why did Coleman move to France as a young woman? Oh, I remember these answers from the book we read too. What happened to Coleman in 1923? They give you a year. What does her reaction reveal about her? All right. There's your questions. Now, let's go ahead and read the article together. Here it is. History makers. Bessie Coleman. And it's just this one page. Oh, there's like a little comic book on the bottom. So first in flight. Her dreams became wings and flew her straight into history. Words to know. Airfield, a flat area where aircraft take off and land. Aviation, the business or practice of flying aircraft. Hey, we saw that word in a question. In 1922, a small airplane flew in the shape of an 8 high above New York airfield. Suddenly, the plane shot down toward the ground. Seconds before it would have crashed, the plane swerved back up to the sky. The brave pilot was Bessie Coleman. She was famous for her daring aerial stunts, but she was an aviation leader in an even bigger way. Coleman was the first black woman in the United States to get a pilot's license. She made history there. I think that was one of your questions. Dreaming of more. Coleman was born in Texas in 1892. Her father was black and Native American, and her mother was probably the daughter of enslaved black parents. Coleman's poor family picked cotton to earn money. Dreaming of a better life, Coleman moved to Chicago to live with her older brothers in 1915. Later, her brother John traveled to France. He told Bessie about the female pilots there. He kidded her and said, "You can't do that," says Russell Lee. He works at the National Air and Space Museum. She took it as a personal challenge. Yeah, she says, "You bet." Becoming a pilot wouldn't be easy. At the time, there were very few opportunities for black people in the U.S. Taking flight. Here's a heading like we're learning about in writing. Coleman was determined to become a pilot, but she couldn't find a flight school that would accept a black woman as a student. So she moved to France, where she was accepted into flight school. Coleman earned her license in 1921. She returned to the U.S. with a new dream, to open a flight school for black women. While she worked toward that goal, Coleman became a barnstormer, a pilot who performs dangerous stunts. She amazed audiences with tricks like loop-de-loops. We read about that too in the book. She even walked on the wings of a flying plane. That's cool. Inspiring others. In 1923, Coleman's plane crashed. She was badly injured, but she didn't let that stop her. 1923, was that the date? "Tell them all that as soon as I can walk, I'm going to fly," Coleman wrote. 3 years later, Coleman was the passenger on another plane that crashed. Sadly, she died. Although she didn't live long enough to open her school, Coleman inspired others to become pilots. All right. Get to it. You're going to fill out your graphic organizer and answer the 4 questions. Don't forget, you're not done until you turn this into school on your next school day.